I'm just going to quickly go through some of the more recent features of the how you set up BS16 on the iPad. So if we just come out, this is the app BS16i. There's two displays. One is a piano keyboard, seem to have no volume there, and then the other one is this, which it's like a kind of rack module. Each one is a channel. You see the number 1 to 8. Now we're not using the last two, we're only using 6 channels. So the first thing is, what are these channels for? Well, if I connect a DigiGurdy, okay, we'll come to the channels in a minute. You see this green round thing with 5 pins in it? That is a representation of a MIDI socket, which is one of these here, and that's kind of industry standard from years and years ago. So that's everything to do with MIDI, that's everything to do with settings. So we'll press MIDI. Now you see it's detected something. It's detected something on port 1 called DigiGurdy, which is the DigiGurdy. So that's good, we're kind of hoping it would do that. And if you had if you had a wireless device, for example, wireless MIDI transmitter plugged into the DigiGurdy, and it was trying to pair, you would look under Bluetooth MIDI devices down here, and you see the two different ones available. They're currently offline, but say you were using this one called an MD-BTO1 by Yamaha. You'd press that, it would try and pair, and then it would pair, and then you'd be talking to your iPad wirelessly. Anyway, this is the simplest way. We've connected our Gurdy to our iPad with a cable, USB cable, yeah, and it's detected it, so that's great, marvellous. Next thing, where do the hurdy-gurdy sounds come from? I'm just moving that so we can see the screen of the Gurdy. Where do the sounds actually come from? They come from what's called a library, also known as a sound font or sound font file, and that's basically a compressed file of every single sound, audio sound the Gurdy could ever make. Basically it's just like a set of recorded notes, if you like, from a real Gurdy. So if we look at channel, so I'm just going to quickly set this up. So I'm going to have that tune. Right, I'm going to set that. Right, now if you look at your hurdy-gurdy, I've set one of the preset tunings, which is G with C drones. So we've got high melody G4. So we want to set our high melody string, don't we? How will we do that? Channel 1, high melody. So we've gone into our library. This is the list of libraries. You see, these are not used. Library 1 is one that comes with the app. It's like piano sounds and violins and all sorts of things. So you could make it sound like a piano or violin or synthesizer. But we want library 2. Where did library 2 come from? You see it's called Vienna Alto Mod 11SF2. Basically, when you first get your DigiGurdy, what you'll do is you'll download that library from the web. I can send you a link. Using your actual iPad you're going to use, you download it, so it ends up in the downloads folder in your iPad, and then when you're looking for a library here, right, like here's one that's not used, so what if I press on that? Whoops. Right, import wavetable file. They call it a wavetable file in this app. If you were to import a wavetable file, well, you'd search for it and it would be there in your downloads folder, you see, on your iPad. Anyway, I've already done that and it's here, it's called this, it's there. Okay, and I've selected it there, so we're good to go. So do you remember here it says my high melody string is G4, so channel 1 is the octave higher melody string, and you can see I've chosen a suitable string. Choose any string, some noise will come out, it might not be right. If it's high G, steel melody strings, that's fine. What about the second channel? That's the next melody string, the one that's, if you like, the correct octave, because the first one's tuned to an octave higher. That's G3 then, isn't it? So I've got a low G steel melody there. Trumpet, C4. Hang on. There we are. Right. High C, trumpet. Drone, C2. Low C drone I've selected, so that's correct. Now what are these two? This one is your buzz sound. If you're going to be cranking and you want it to buzz, you need to select a buzz sound. So there's 2 or 3, there's another one there, alternative buzz. Anyway, Nige buzz, loud, that works. It doesn't matter that it's loud or not, because you have a volume control with this particular piece of software. What's the 6th channel? That's the key click. Part of a hurdy-gurdy sound is the clickety-clack of the keys. Some people like it, some people don't. So there's a channel for that. You can select a key click sound, and each has its own volume slider. So if you don't like it, or you just want it there quietly, just put it there quietly. There's a master volume control. These two are not used. That's grand piano. We don't want those. 7 and 8. Just ignore those. Turn them down. Master volume. And then you've noticed you've got effects for each channel. You can have echo. You can make it sound like you're in a great big empty hall, for example. It's not a full suite of effects, but it's just interesting. You can change the sound of it. And there's a master one here, because all these channels are like blended together and then come out through a master channel. You know, so it comes out through the speakers or the headphone socket. So they're the basics. Now there are other features. You'll notice here I've got what's called presets. If I press that one, it just retunes them all. Now we've got D drones for one of the other tunings. So the first time round, you have to set these up manually, but once they're in the memory, you can just go through these presets if you want to change the tuning. How do you set up the presets? You go to settings. They're called scenes for some reason. So we'll go into scenes. Save a new scene. Sorry. Right. Sorry. So what you do, you set your new tunings manually. So let's just, I don't know, set something really bizarre. Yeah, like that. Now we need to save that as a scene. I've already used 0 to 3, let's call it 4. So if I go here now, scenes, save as a new scene. Save what you've just set, in other words, as a new scene. Right, and we'll give it a scene name, test scene. There we are. Right. Now we need to assign that a channel number. So assignment, hang on, it's not there yet. Save as test scene. I think I already have saved it actually. There we are. Edit. Sorry, I want scenes. There we are. Right, scene 4. Right. Preset 4. I'm going to select test scene. There we are. So I've now made scene 4 our test setup scene, if you like. Close. So there we are. So when I click on 4, it loads that junk one that I've just created. Okay. And there's another one. There's scene 4. Now the really cool thing is, this is nice. Why am I bothering to do this? The cool thing is, like, if you want to change tuning, you just press the scene setup that you want, that you've preloaded, so using these preset keys. But the other cool thing is, if you change the tuning setup on here, for one of the main 1 to 4 basic setups, it will actually automatically tell the iPad to choose that setup for you, and you'll see it'll the little scroll wheel will go around and then the new scene will come up, and all you have to do is reset the volumes, or you can do it manually. Just make sure the tuning you choose matches the one you've selected. And the other thing to bear in mind is the iPad will remember the last set tuning, so when you turn it on again the next day, say you're practicing a piece every morning, it'll come on in the same tuning. It saves you time, basically. So it's actually very, very handy piece of software, this is. So I hope that covers it for you. In fact, what I'll do is I'll just go through the wireless setup, so that's been covered as well. So I'm going to unplug the iPad completely. There you are, I've unplugged it. And I'm going to power up the DigiGurdy internally. Sorry, not yet. I'm going to plug in a wireless transmitter first, which is one of these. This is the Yamaha version. Plug it in there. The light seems to have disappeared. So you'll see there, I've just plugged that in there and it's just flashing, just waiting to connect. So we'll go into MIDI and let's go down. Now to remember, we're now looking for Bluetooth MIDI devices, except I haven't powered this up yet, so it's not doing anything. Hang on. Right. Don't know if you can see that. It's flashing red. It's looking for something to pair with, basically. So now if I go into these settings, Bluetooth MIDI devices. Right, it's highlighted, it's detected this thing called an MDBT01, but it's not connected yet. So press it and it will try and connect. And it's connected. So just to prove that, what have we got here? Okay, we should get some sound out if I select tuning. Select. Okay, let's see if we get any sound. There we are. So it's connected and it's working. So that's how you go wireless, should you wish to do that.